Around the age of 30, I had been elected chef of a team of 25 people. A promotion, more responsibility. Great! My main mission? To speed up new developments, changing things around, playing with new concepts and ideas. Excellent! The downside to the job of middle manager? Well, people would turn to me when they experience problems with the old systems too. Whoops! Of course I knew that would happen, but I couldn't anticipate how that would go. Okay, I had been in this organization already for a couple of years. In another function, okay, where I had only scratched the surface on the practical ins and outs of the work done in this team. I remember how in the first week or so, a team member came to my desk. She had noticed the problem and came to me for a solution. First impulse? Great! I have been accepted as the team chef. The next nanosecond, oh no! Right away, I knew one thing for 100% for sure. I don't know a solution to this problem. But knowing not to know, to have absolutely no clue on the matter, that was probably just enough knowledge to stay out of solutions my reptilian brain parts could come up with, because they would be founded in fight or flight. Not appropriate. I knew I had to give it a real go, this being responsible. Giving up on the first hurdle without trying? No. But then what? In the 3 very silent seconds the team member was looking at me expectantly, my Rolodex of possible actions flipped open on "Buy time! Ask questions!" Hey, but which question would buy me the most time, I wondered. I squeezed out a smile before asking her, okay, well, can you describe the situation in more detail, please? She nodded, and when she started to talk I realized I had taken the first hurdle, and I was still alive. And still in the saddle. My blood pressure and adrenaline levels lowered, and I relaxed a bit, feeling suddenly very response-able. Hooray! This question bought me about 15 minutes of time. More importantly, it brought me the sensation that I could relate to this person describing the complex work situation she was facing in so much detail, so much more detail than her words only. Being an empath, which I didn't consciously know at the time, I was able to resonate with the whole experience. I felt her vibes in the various aspects of the situation, as she described it. Response-able. I could absorb and mirror her emotions, which, I learned later, shows acceptance of all that is. Having to explain this complex issue to a curious, interested person who is hardly involved in the task, invited her to do her best to structure and clarify and prioritize the information. That made the whole situation not only a lot clearer to her. To me, feeling the vibes of the diverse elements gave me insight in where she was calm and confident and where she wasn't. The main bottleneck for her turned out to be if she was actually allowed to decide which option would be best to solve this issue with in its slipstream, not being sure of the quality of the available options. So I asked her to tell me about the options she saw to solve the problem. I was astounded. I got the full rundown in minutes, the pros, the cons, all the possible risks, on a number of options. Oh dear, I panicked again. She had all these details. This was all new to me. I didn't understand a word of most of it. What would be a wise decision to take? The moment would come now very soon where she would look at me again expectantly. Rolodex time again. Another question. I need another question. I need more time. Just before the silence became awkward, long enough after she stopped speaking so that she could have thought that I'd been weighing her options in my mind, I produced another smile and the sentence, "Okay now, what would you choose if it was up to you?" hoping that the sweat running down my spine would go unnoticed. Was I busted now? When I dared to look, I saw the biggest smile I had seen so far, and she started to explain enthusiastically a new approach that would tackle most cons, capture most pros, with hardly any risks involved. This option could easily be reversed even, if it didn't work out as she figured out it would. No cost involved, just a little tweak on the existing system. Oh boy, the joy and relief I felt when all I had to say, all I could say, was, "Well, that seems the way to go then." It was enormous. My first conscious experience that the best decisions take themselves. On leaving, she thanked me for being so quick with making a decision. She was not used to that happening here. Ha! Well, I didn't say it, but I did not do such a thing. Let's recap. I panicked. I knew that I had no clue on the matter at hand. I squeezed out a few smiles and a lot of sweat on my back. I did my utmost best to stay calm and friendly. I missed probably close to up to 40% of the words she used to explain things to me. I knew I was asking questions predominantly to have more time, surely not to be quick. But hey, I looked at the bright side of it all too. If this seems to work as being responsible and also brings new developments into the workplace, then hey, I have got what it takes to fulfill this mission. Applying hindsight, 14 years later. Keep the very same story in mind, but this is what happened on a completely different level. She came to me because she was experiencing a conflict within herself. She did not know which solution to choose. And in the instant that I knew I didn't know, we stepped closer and we started to dance. She led me over the dance floor of the workflow, and she did her interpretation of what could be danced on that dance floor. And in being in the arms of her being, I felt the flow. I knew where we were. I knew what was happening. I felt where the flow was smooth and harmonious and going very, very well and very nice. And I felt where she was holding back because there was traffic or she didn't know how to make the turn. And I just surrendered. I just surrendered. She had the lead. We danced and we danced and we danced. And when she stopped and looked at me, I asked her, "Shall we dance again? Shall we dance again? We've done it now once, we've done it now twice, we've done it now 3 times, we've gone through various options, we've gone through various turns. Shall we dance again?" And having felt how I surrendered into her taking the lead, Having felt the flow of the dance floor, where obstacles are, where traffic is, etc., etc., she accepted. Let's dance again. And there, in that final dance, she improvised because she had been in that traffic, she had been in that dance floor, she had danced that choreography. But after a couple of practices with me in her arms, knowing that I would follow, I would just follow. She took the lead. We can take a little turn there. Quicken up, go a little bit faster there. And keep the flow going. Like that, it's smooth. Like that, it's smooth. And we completed that dance. And our beings bowed to each other. Thank you for this dance. That is what really happened in the world of energy. The rest is form in the world of matter.